Welcome. We're going to be talking about the state of vibe coding a little bit, and then we're going to get into some actual projects because I have some work to do. It's Monday. I slept in, and here we are. So, welcome. I just kind of left the AI OS stuff from Liam Otley, and love Liam. Love a lot of these guys. I've learned a lot of stuff from these YouTubers, Nick Sarayev, Jack Automations, Nate Herc, Adam Goodyear, little niche guy, but a lot of cool stuff. But I also want to talk a little bit on the truth of things. Okay. AI OS, AI operating systems, is nothing but product design. Product design is something that has been here since digital products have been, when I'm digital software, right? When software products have been here, right? And you can see already, like, it's difficult sometimes to kind of find the right term for the thing that we're talking about because digital products means like PDFs, downloadable things, zip files, and stuff like that. Product design can sometimes mean like physical stuff, like designing a mouse and stuff. And so software product design is like the real term we're talking about. Product design is the shorthand of it. But as soon as coding was a thing, you have this because as soon as coding was a thing, you had interfaces. And when you have interfaces, you have, workflows, and you have something that a human interacts with, and these things are the products that the world kind of sees, right? They don't see the code, they don't see the stuff, they see what they see. So anything that you use on a daily basis, a project manager, a task manager, a CRM, these are all software products. And so someone had to design them. Someone had to make a decision as to where the buttons are, what the navigation is doing, and where just everything flows and how you actually do things with it, right? And it's a big space and it's open, but it's been around, right? It's been around for a long time. So what's happening now is kind of like you're a layman that knows AI, that knows automation, that knows, these tools, JSON, then Claude Code, and then all that stuff is kind of putting two and two together and then realizing that you can do this, right? And one of those terms that you've heard is vibe coding in order to do this. But vibe coding is like a little bit of a more playful thing. And then we have like software product design, which is, I think, the more professional version of it. But, the reason why I named this thing Vibe Code Cowboys is because it's the same principles, right? It's the same principles of putting something together that people like to use and then putting it into a business. Okay. So whether you're coming from this from a side of like, I like making coded stuff, or you're a guy who likes automation and whatnot, you find a middle ground where you're making an interface that you coded that has workflows and like a user interface, and it has the power of automation in the background. And that's the whole focus of this channel. And that's the whole focus of this industry. And it's not going away, and it's not something brand new. It's just that the way that the market has opened up, you've just given more people with skill the opportunity to go and do it. But I just want to be very clear, like, just because the opportunity is there doesn't mean that everyone's building great products. Just because the opportunity is there doesn't mean that anyone can go and build a great app. Someone can go and build an app, right? It's just like saying like hammers exist, right? Hammers exist. So now anyone can go and become a carpenter. We know this is not true, right? Wrenches exist. Home Depot exists. Anyone can go and be a handyman. Anyone can go and build a shed. But not everyone is going to go and, one, just do it. Just have the balls and have the effort and have the attention span to go and do it. Same thing with code. People just aren't going to do it. They're just like, oh, it's too much. I have things to do already. They're just, one and only, they're just not going to do it. Okay. And then two, a lot of these people are not going to be good at it. Okay. So, for example, there was like 1,700 people in Liam's stream for the AIOS. I'd say 200 of them are like note takers. So let's go 1,500 people in a stream. 1,500 people in a stream. Let's just do a hard, broad rule of 20 is even generous. I'm going to say 10. 10% of people are even going to take action to the point where they build like a version one of an AI operating system. So 10% of 1,500 is 150 people. And then 10% of that, I'd say, are going to be people that actually go and stick with it long enough to make decent amount of money with it. So 15 people, I'd say, 15 people from the entire world out of that, what's it called, webinar, are going to go and actually do something with this. So you don't have to feel like you're behind if you're a builder, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity if you're a good builder. Okay. If you're a good builder, if you care, essentially, that's the missing ingredients, man. Right. Because yes, you are going to have the people that, don't have a coding background and don't have like, visual design background and don't have all that stuff. But if you care enough to make a great product, if you care enough to have something that looks good, feels good, operates good, it does some kind of output for your client, and your client is happy with it, if you care enough, you will see it through, right? Obviously, you also have to care about the money. You have to care about your results. You want your results, but your results come from their results. So you have to care about their results. Then it goes to your results, and then you go and build, or you go and make the money and collect the thing because you built something well, right? It's the same thing as like everything else, guys, right? If you're a mechanic, you have to care that the car stays on the road, right? If you're someone like that, you have to care that the thing actually works and does its thing, right? So I just want to have that small statement about the state of the market, just because there's a lot of like opportunistic language and there's a lot of like vibes if you're learning to build something and all that, that makes it so that you feel like you're having this anxiety of like not knowing where to go in the market and stuff like that. And so this channel, I want to teach you the principles of people who have decided to go down this road, right? This channel is not for everyone. This channel is not to say anyone can go and do this. I don't believe that. I think you need some foundational skill. I think you can develop that foundational skill, but I think there's like personalities and character traits that would make you probably a bit better in this stuff, right? To lay those out simply, one is you need an understanding of like visuals. You need an understanding of visual and how humans interpret visuals. Whether you have a graphic design background, whether you're just a person who likes film, even maybe a person who likes posters, maybe a person who likes fashion, but you're someone who understands that there is not just like a pleasantness to visuals, but there's also like a science and understanding to the persuasiveness of visuals. Okay. If you understand that that exists and then you're willing to learn those core principles, you'll do better because all of it fundamentally, like I said, is an interface and people interact with these things on a visual basis, right? You move your mouse on a screen on a visual basis. And so you need to make sure that you have your visuals in line with how the brain reacts and how people use things. Okay. This is not to be like underemphasized here, right? Products with bad user experience do not get used. Products with good user experience can be less productive, less useful, but will be used more. Okay. A great example is school. People hate on school for a long time. SKOOL, Alex Hormozi and Sam Ovens product. People hated on it for a long time. They said WAP can do that. Kajabi can do that. All these other things can do that. But they didn't see the simplicity of school. And the simplicity of school is what made it broader, right? And I would argue, I don't even know actually the stats on this. We can look it up later. But the people on school just wanted a platform that worked, right? And that's like the biggest thing. You just want a platform that works. You want a product that works. And so this isn't about being the fanciest visual designer. It's about being the clearest sometimes, right? And it's the same thing like in terms of marketing. They say you should be clear, not clever, meaning you want to say something that doesn't take too much mental effort to get the joke, right? To get the concept of the idea. Clear, not clever, right? Clear, not clever is a great principle for visual design, product design, marketing, and stuff like that because people are people, right? I don't like saying people are stupid. I don't like this concept like everyone's stupid. So, design to the lowest common denominator. I don't think that. I think you're disrespecting your fellow man. I think that everyone's busy. Everyone's busy. Everyone's stressed. Everyone's got things going on. And, some people like a little intellectual, hurdle, intellectual battle. But if you want the broadest available, like grasping of people's attention, you have to go clear, not clever. Okay. Make a joke, make a product, make a design, make a visual, make a marketing ad that is clear and not clever, and you'll do great. Okay. So we're talking like visual hierarchy, visual understanding. That's one good component. That's one thing. Another one is being clear and not clever, and just generally the visuals and also like the workflows and stuff like that. And also even communicating with people. When you're communicating with people, you're talking about the outcomes. You're not talking about the code. You're talking about what they get. You're not talking about what's under the hood. You're talking about cargo fast, not, this octane level gas and this carburetor and this engine cylinder makes the car accelerate at this many miles per hour. You just say cargo fast when you step down on pedal. That's what I'm talking about, right? Sounds stupid, but it's the truth. If you talk like that, you will make more money. If you talk like that, you will help people more. If you talk like that, you tap into the parts of our brains that are just like mammalian, reptilian, and we understand these things, right? It's the same thing when it comes to like just hunger or lust, right? You feel it It's such a core level that you don't even argue it. There's no need to argue it. There's no need to over explain it. There's no need to intellectualize it or anything like that. You just get it. Okay. So the same thing with products. It's the same thing with marketing. It's the same thing with all this stuff. Okay. So visual understanding, just an overall simplicity. And then I'd say the last one is, yes, a little bit of a technical understanding of like, how does this actually work, which is kind of like the nuts and bolts of things. But if you're a person that, say you want to be an architect and you like houses and you like understanding space and all that stuff, you're going to learn what a beam is. You're going to learn, where to put the wall so that this foundation can have structure. You're going to learn, the codes of like the windows and like the fire exits and stuff. You're going to learn these things, and it's probably going to be boring. It's probably just going to be a little bit boring. It's probably going to be a little bit difficult. It's going to be a little bit tedious. But if you are willing to learn it and you can learn it, there is a capability of needing to be able to understand these concepts. Then you'll have that done, have that taken care of. You'll get through, the first 2 years of college, or those, what do they call the preliminary classes? I forgot the term of it. I dropped out of college, but they're just the stuff that you need to know to kind of just make the thing work, right? In order to build a beautiful yacht, you need to understand how things float, right? And so it's kind of the basics, and you do need to get that. And you need to have a little bit of enough grit to get through that process, which I think most people have. Everyone just kind of has different levels of it. So with this one, it just kind of depends on you, like whether or not you grasp it and how long it's going to take you to grasp it, but you will grasp it if you stick with it long enough. Okay. So that is about as much as I'm going to talk about that for now. I guess what I'll say to wrap it, like, I don't know, how would I say this? To wrap, if you want to do AI operating systems, AI software product design, it is very, very possible, very, very fun once you get there, and then very, very useful to the end users, these companies that are going to be paying you money to install these systems. Okay. It's going to take a little bit of work to get the skills. It's going to take a little bit of work to refine the skills. But once you do it, you're going to have this cluster of skills and this cluster of capabilities that people are going to seek you out for, right? If you do some promotion and stuff and get the ball rolling and all that stuff, your name becomes kind of associated with these cool things, then you will definitely do better, or you'll do well. You'll absolutely do well with these skills, because this is what people deal with every single day. Try to understand a knowledge worker's day to day. A knowledge worker is a term coined by Peter Drucker, and he talked about anyone that uses their brain to work, right? Not labor, not all that stuff, but people that use their brain to work. And a funny thing, even if you are in the trades or the labor, you probably have like a reporting system or some kind of like, system that you use on your phone, you report back to base with, and it's a piece of software. Every person that makes money in today's economy, for the most part, uses these softwares. And lots of these people do not like the softwares that are currently out there. They don't like HubSpot. They don't like Close. They don't like PandaDoc. They don't like Monday. They don't like Trello. They don't like any of these things that they use on a daily basis. There's like missing buttons, or there's too many features, or there's confusion, or the price just went up, or the usage limits just went down. And now we have the capability for people like us, people like you, if you follow along with this channel, to go and design products specifically to them. Okay. Imagine if someone told you you can go and you can have the perfect car for you. You can have the AC that you want. You can have the digital system that you want. You can have your seat the way you want. You can have your interior the way you want. You can have your exterior the way you want. The paint, the tint, every single thing exactly to you, one of one, custom. And every time you get in there, it feels like an ocean breeze just on you, because you know exactly where every button is. You know how to get in, get out, so how to park the thing, just not even looking. Basically, it is so simple and clean, right? And this is what's happening with business. Okay. So if you've been paying attention, you know that Lovable and Bolt and all these places are telling anyone they can build apps. But again, just because you can doesn't mean you can do it well. And just because you can doesn't mean that you will even do it in the first place, because you got other things going on. So if you want to build these things for other people, follow this channel, pay attention. We're going to go through all the steps. We're going to go through all the things to be able to understand all the layers, so you can do this and you can be sought out for your craftsmanship, right? And I want to emphasize that this is a craft. This is a craft. If you go and you can do these things for people and you can lead them comfortably along this path, and you can say, you don't have to pay for hundreds, thousands of dollars for these subscription costs anymore, and you get a better piece of software and use it every single day. Your day every single day has just gotten 10 times, 100 times better because this software is yours. This software is designed by you. You don't like that that's missing a button? We'll make that button. You don't like that this page is over here? We'll remove that page. We'll move it somewhere else. You don't like that this thing is like a restriction? Fuck that restriction. You know what I mean? So we're going to do a lot of that on this channel. We're going to go through the process of understanding what makes a good product. We're going to go through the process of how to sell that good product. We're going to go through the process of anything to do with that sort of thing. Okay, so follow along. There's a link in my bio for my school to get real deep dives. These streams here are just to kind of get the word out and also trying to show you guys what I'm working on and what's going on with this.